Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian Donnelly. I'm an expert in distilled spirits with 9 years experience in the alcoholic beverage industry, and my goal is to educate consumers more about the alcoholic beverages they enjoy so they can make better shopping and drinking decisions. I probably should have talked about this earlier, but let's talk about additives. If you know anything about tequila, or if you've drank tequila for any amount of time recently, you probably have heard somebody talking about additives. It is the hot conversation when it comes to tequila. And, rightfully so. A lot of brands that are making their products the right way, want to highlight the fact that, their products are additive free, meaning that that product is made exclusively with agave, yeast, water, and then potentially barrel, influence from the barrel for their rested and aged expressions. And they're not adding any sort of additives. So you'll hear brands talking about being additive free. I think the lawsuit at the moment with Diageo and their products, Casamigos and Don Julio. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I think it creates a lot of conversation about transparency, about additives, about what's actually in your product. And so for me, the Código brand is so incredible because of that degree of transparency. So I'm going to reference some notes directly from the brand. The CRT, or the Consejo Regulador del Tequila, or the regulatory body for tequila, permits 1% of 100% agave spirit to consist of additives without any changes to the product's label. Now, what additives might be in your tequila, especially a tequila that is 100% agave? Well, the four most common types of additives are sugar-based syrups, glycerin, caramel coloring, and oak extract. So we've talked a bit about caramel coloring and oak extract, right? You want your product to have a consistent color. You want all your reposados to be the same color. You want all your añejos to be the same color. So you might add caramel coloring, or you might add oak extract to make that product consistent, or maybe a bit nefariously, you want your product to appear even darker so that it appears to the consumer that it has spent extra time aging that you maybe did not actually do. And so there might be a disconnect with the way that product looks and the actual flavor and the actual complexity on the palate. You actually, I think, see this a lot in the rum industry, but it's legally permitted here in tequila. It's legally permitted in the tequila industry. And then when you start talking about glycerin, that's all about mouthfeel, and sugar-based syrups. If there are certain brands of tequila that just smell so vanilla, it almost smells like frosting. An easy way to potentially check if your product has any added sugars is, and I have the Código Blanco here, is you can just pour a very small amount on your hands. Okay? And then rub your hands together. It's almost like a hand sanitizer. And you rub your hands together until all the alcohol evaporates off. Just think of, hand sanitizer. You can get some good, you can smell that product. And when all the liquid dries and the alcohol is evaporated off, if there's any residual stickiness, that is an easy way, or potentially an easy way, to tell if there's a sugar-based syrup added to that product to enhance the flavor profile, to make it seem a little more vanilla-like, right? So it takes about a minute or so, maybe 2 minutes, and your hands will be completely dry. And if they are left nice and clean, like you just used some Purell hand sanitizer, for example, then you know that there's potentially no added sugars to that product. And if you go do that with a spiced rum or some of the flavored vodkas, your hands will have some residual stickiness, and you might need to actually wash them with soap. But if it's a pure alcohol made without any added sugars, then your hands, like right now, my hands are completely dry, and it feels like I just used some hand sanitizer, some agave scented hand sanitizer, right? You can smell your hands; they smell like tequila, but there's no stickiness at all. I mean, it's clean and smooth and refreshed. And that's an easy way of potentially telling if your tequila maybe has some additives or not. Again, It's not foolproof, but it's one of the first things I do. And a lot of times you can do it by the smell test. I mean, if your product, if the tequila you're drinking smells like, cake frosting, there's a good chance that the flavor profile has probably been manipulated by additives. But, a lot of brands, to me, the brands that are willing to be the most transparent about their production process are the brands that are doing things the right way and are not adding additives. And I think it's really cool that Código says, hey, we're additive free. We're not adding any additives. And we're gonna teach the consumer. These are the 4 most common additives that you'll see. Sugar-based syrup, glycerin, caramel coloring, oak extract. We don't have, Código as a brand doesn't have any of those. So they're trying to educate the consumers about what is, an open, dirty secret in the tequila industry. So I think that's really cool. That level of transparency I really appreciate. And I think, transparency in production and consumer education, that's the benchmark. That's the foundation of this channel. And I think that's really, really important. Thank you so much again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, maybe even learned something. Please give this video a like and consider subscribing. If you would like to be notified whenever I have new content on my website or this YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to my email newsletter. If you have any feedback for the channel, leave me a comment or shoot me an email. I do my best to personally read and respond to every single email I receive. Also, if you'd like to support this channel further, please consider becoming a Patreon member or gift me a cocktail through the link below in the description. Thank you so much again for your support. If you do not care about the video component of these brand tastings and educational videos, then please consider subscribing to my podcast. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you consume your podcasts. It's just the audio content of these videos. Thank you so much again for watching, and as always, please drink responsibly.